Joining me now is Annie Cyrus. Annie, thank you for your patience tonight, Annie.
You're very welcome. I was actually enjoying the discussion.
Well, we got
And
a
by
little
the way,
behind.
don't cut down, don't cut out. Just we need to turn your 2 hour into 3 hours.
No. I'm already doing four. You know that because you were on with me a lot of times between my 1 and 2 slot. All right. So did you email me anything? I need to go look at my email to bring up or anything?
And nothing major that we have to show. I just sent you some of the updates that I thought you may want to look at before we go over them. I didn't really send you much screenshots or videos, but I did send you the let's say the blueprints of the new government because Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, aka Taliban, has finally announced their new cabinet and their new government.
Okay,
And
I don't see anything, so I'll let you just keep going. Maybe I didn't get it. Maybe with the raw spot. Okay, so Taliban has announced their new government, huh?
yes, they did. They finally announced their new government, and this is where I'm gonna have a very nice smile and say, "I told you." They are following the exact steps of Islamic Republic of Iran. Out of the blue, they announced that Afghanistan will have a supreme leader.
They will have a supreme leader?
They will have a supreme leader.
And what does that
Yep.
mean when they have a supreme leader? Like he's going to be like their supreme religious leader as well?
No, he's going to be the supreme leader who is a high-ranking Islamic leader,
That's
just
what I
like
mean. So he's
Islamic
going to be.
Republic of Iran.
That's what I mean. He's going to be. He's a high-ranking government leader, but he's also a religious leader.
Yes, and he was with Taliban from day one. He was part of the original Taliban who put together all the attacks that started from 26 years ago. And he has not appeared publicly yet, but he did start putting out, let's say, fatwas. And I actually have a part here.
What is a fatwa? For those who don't know, what is a fatwa, Annie?
A fatwa is an Islamic judgment or Islamic ruling.
How many fatwas do you have against you?
Well, I have 11.
You're collecting, it sounds like. You're collecting fatwas, or what's the deal here?
I am working to become the $1 million baby. I'm not there yet. I need to work a little harder, a couple more fatwas, and I will make it to if all of them put their efforts together and deliver my head or me alive, they might get $1 million.
So what you're saying is there's a bounty eventually, and the bounty might be $1 million eventually if this keeps going.
Exactly.
And what is your
As
crime?
of right
Your
now,
crime is being a former Muslim who left Iran and criticizing Islam?
well, my charge is that I have been found guilty by the regime of Iran as propaganda against the regime, propaganda against the supreme leader of Iran, and muharaba, which is waging war against Allah. Those three have been convicted already, and my judgment is for me to be grabbed, taken back to Iran to basically be killed, hanged for my crimes. That's 3 out of 11.
3 out of 11. Is there anything going on in America related to Iranians here in America that shows that could happen? Are there people here trying to do these things? Has anything happened in the news in the last few months related to that?
Oh, of course. About a month and a half ago, 4 Iranian operatives were indicted inside America. The 4 operatives are not in America, but they were indicted inside America in American court for a plot to kidnap an Iranian-American journalist. Her name is Masih Ali-Nejad, and they had a list of 5 American Iranian journalists to kidnap and take back. That was as recent as a month and a half ago. That was when I received the second call personally from FBI to let me know to watch my back because I'm on that list too. I have received 2 calls in the last 4 months from FBI. One, that I'm on the list of IRGC and my system has been completely hacked and they know my location, my activities, everything. The second call was my name is on the 5 American Iranians to be kidnapped, taken back by the IRGC operatives.
So why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep showing up on my show and blabbing like you're doing?
Because I earned my freedom when I was 18 after 15 years of torture, imprisonment, rape, slavery, inhuman breathing under circumstances that no human should ever do. So I have earned a freedom that I'm not going to let go. What is it called? Give me death or give me liberty? I live by that.
So her website, by the way, is liveuptofreedom.com. I think she's doing that. Liveuptofreedom.com. Annie, so they've got this new government they've announced, the Taliban in Afghanistan, and they've announced their leader, and he's going to be the supreme leader, much like Iran. So again, this is a I told you so moment, because you did say right here on this broadcast that Afghanistan would go the way of Iran.
Exactly. And here's the first message the supreme leader of Afghanistan has put out. I assure all countrymen that the figures will work hard toward upholding Islamic rules and Sharia in the country.
So
He already
Sharia,
said it.
Sharia is Islamic law. So what does that mean for women, little girls?
Well, under Sharia, as a woman, you're okay. Let's establish this. You are a woman, adult woman, starting age 9. So every time I say woman under Sharia, please keep in mind that is 9 and older. Under Sharia, a woman is considered half of a woman, half of a person. He requires a male guardian for all aspects of life. That male guardian can be father, if father is not in the picture, the brother or the uncle. If she is married, then the husband or husband's father or father-in-law become the male guardian. They will make all the decisions for her. Under Sharia, as I said, at age 9, you are considered a full adult woman, meaning starting age 9, you can become somebody's wife if your male guardian decide that's a good idea. Under Sharia, as a woman, you do not have the right to own property. You do not have the right to a divorce. There are only 3 circumstances a woman holds the right to request for a divorce. Doesn't mean she's going to get it. What else? Under Sharia, a woman cannot go to school, have any education or a job unless their male guardian allows it, if the government does allow female workers. For example, one thing, Taliban, you can see in their new government, absolutely not a single woman. None. The entire government is placed by men, all Taliban members. And funny enough, 4 of them are on terrorist lists. They're under sanctions, or some of them actually are found guilty of drug trafficking. But now they are members of Taliban government in Afghanistan.
If we go back over here, Logan, to worldviewreport.com, here's a headline tonight at worldviewreport.com. California woman in Kabul says Taliban hunting for Americans in Afghanistan. Brings you to your New York Times or New York Post article. A pregnant woman from California is stranded in Afghanistan, said the Taliban is hunting for Americans now that the U.S. military has withdrawn from the country. You want to comment on that, Annie?
Yes, I do. And yes, the 2 other people have reported those in Afghanistan. And I just want to say this. I'm sorry. I have been blessed, but I've been contacted by many Americans who are reaching out to me through liveuptofreedom.com asking for my help because they actually have family members stuck in Afghanistan. As of right now, I'm still working on ways to get involved because that's what Live Up to Freedom does. We do rescue cases. But I have personally received emails from people telling me their family members who were either teachers or translators are in Afghanistan right now with no way out. But yes, Taliban are going door to door looking for Americans and still looking for Christians. One of the major underground Christian churches in Afghanistan, sadly, was raided, and everyone in that house was killed as well. So that's where it is. And again, our government, Biden administration, is not going to call it what it is. They refuse to call Taliban the enemy of the state. They refuse to call this hostage crisis. They refuse to say that Taliban killed a former female police officer in Afghanistan who was pregnant. They refuse to tell us what is happening, but this is what's happening. We have sold out. We have literally left our people behind, and by we I mean administration of Biden administration, and they're more worried about working with the new Taliban government headed by a bunch of criminals and terrorists than try to figure out how to get our people out or how to save Christians, Afghan Christians who are being slaughtered daily in their houses for having a Bible, having a cross. Yeah, actually, yes, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Annie, the Biden administration says there's 100 people there, but we have people saying there's at least 500 Americans there. What are you hearing?
I can confirm based on reports coming from Afghanistan directly on channels that I watch, there are at least 1,200 Americans left behind.
1,200.
1,200 at least Americans are still in Afghanistan.
What about these 6 planes sitting on the runway? These are now being referred to as hostages.
No. Remember, there is no hostage situation. Taliban are working with us. We trust them. We're cooperating with each other. Sorry, that was just my bad sense of humor repeating what Biden administration says. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Actually, interesting enough, it's been 2 days, and I don't know about you, but I have dug as deep as I could. Not a word repeat anywhere of updates. What happened to them? From the email I received personally from someone from Afghanistan this morning, the planes are still held hostage with everyone in it. But mainstream media or any of the reports in America, they just said it and then they dropped it. Nothing was mentioned afterwards. Because Biden administration, or better yet, CIA is still negotiating how much money does Taliban want to release the planes. Because their demand is money. They want more money.
We talked about that. We talked about that, didn't we? We talked about that. We predicted this. We predicted this.
That's why I say it's sad. It's sad, but today, all day, I've been looking at reports and I'm like, I told you. I told you this is happening. I told you next week this is going to go down. Again, it's not that I have some psychic ability. No, it's just I grew up in a country that Afghanistan is trying to copy. If anybody could guess their next move, it's me. Because I watched my motherland playing all these games in 1979. And then in 1987, and then in 1992, and on and on and on to this day, they're playing the same game. Now Afghanistan is playing the same game too. And by the way, just another note I wanted to let you know, 2 things. One, yesterday when Taliban announced their regime and the ceremony was going on, they invited 4 countries' officials to be there. 4, that's it. Those 4 countries, Russia, China, Iran, and Qatar.
And Qatar, what can you tell our audience about Qatar? Or would you say Qatar?
Well, Qatar. Well, if I was about to pronounce it very correctly, it's Qatar. But so Qatar was one of the countries that under President Trump agreed to make it, peace deal with Israel. However, Qatar is a very small, literally small country that has nothing of their own. They get a lot of support from other Islamic countries, especially Islamic Republic of Iran. And interesting enough, again, as something we discussed last week, Taliban in Iran and Pakistan have given Qatar a chance to walk away and join their side. That's why Qatar officials were invited to the ceremony of the Taliban government's announcement.
How about Bahrain?
Bahrain has not been targeted yet. They have not gone after Bahrain yet, even though Bahrain was also one of the countries that signed a peace agreement with Israel. But they haven't gone after Bahrain yet.
But I do understand Iran threatens them pretty much on a daily basis.
Absolutely. They started the day they signed that peace deal, Iran started making threats toward Bahrain. But that's the thing. At this moment, a lot of countries have flipped the coin and decided to be smart about it and join the whole Taliban charade. So Iran is basically giving all these smaller countries the chance to repent, basically. Turn their back to Israel and come join the bigger Islamic movement.
So are they building the caliphate?
Of course they are. Of course they are.
What is, for the layperson, what is it when I say they're building the caliphate? What does that mean?
Well, caliphate is a basically Islamic governed state. Now, the end goal is for a global caliphate, meaning every breathing human across earth will be a Muslim or a Mohammedan, as mentioned in Quran, or if not, they will be killed. As of right now, in Middle East is the movement that it's going. Now, for a good period of time, they were working on it and building it until we went in and somewhat pushed them back. But thanks to Biden administration making a deal with Taliban and ISIS and Al Qaeda and Iran. Wow, I am so ashamed of my government right now.
And
Sorry,
then we found out the other day that finally what you were saying here, now almost 2 weeks ago, that now it's getting into the mainstream media that Al Qaeda and ISIS-K are really the same thing, just as you said.
Exactly. But as you asked Carl, your last guest, I've never been invited to Fox News either, and I'm never invited to, except your radio. I've never been invited to any other Christian radio to tell all the Christian audience, please don't listen to Interfaith Dialogue.
So
please
Christian radio stations don't call you wanting to interview you like we do.
Exactly. That your radio station is the only Christian radio station that has ever reached out to me.
So my network, VCY America out of Milwaukee, that I'm on and have worked with them for 25 years, that's the only Christian radio network you've ever been on.
Exactly. But that's the thing. They're all the same. Remember, they all read the same Quran and they all follow the same Muhammad.
And they're all going for the interfaith dialogue. They're all going for that interfaith dialogue, which is a tactic of the Muslim Brotherhood. Syed Qutb, one of the leading Muslim Brotherhood leaders, said the interfaith dialogue is a one-way bridge. You get the non-Muslim to come over to our side, not the other way around. And yet the silly Christians and the silly police departments and the silly sheriff departments and the silly military and the silly FBI, they fall for interfaith dialogue, don't they?
Of course they do. Because they're not well educated on the topic. So when the imam goes in there and lies to them and say, we believe in Christianity, we believe in Jesus, they're just going to take their word for it. They're not going to ask like, okay, so tell me exactly how do you describe Jesus? They don't ask that question. They don't. About a year ago, maybe less than that, a new movie came out starring Jim Caviezel, produced by Dinesh D'Souza, called Infidel. I urge everybody to watch that movie. Watch that movie. You hear the truth and you see exactly what is happening to Americans in Middle East and the Christians in Middle East. Then stand up and demand our government to stop negotiating, working, even talking to these people. Right now, we're allies with Pakistan. We're doing business with Pakistan. 2 days ago, Pakistan got involved and helped Taliban to conquer Panjshir, which is the only province that was still free from Taliban in Afghanistan.
Taliban just took over the last free province in Pakistan?
Yes, Panjshir. Yes, the only free, and they had the opposition group and military in that town, in that area. They couldn't take it. Pakistan got involved and supported Taliban. Why is United States of America still cooperating, working, doing business, talking, and chit-chatting with Pakistan when 2 days ago they worked with Taliban to invade another land area in Afghanistan? It's almost like a bad dream, Brannon.
And of course, Pakistan has nuclear weapons.
Of course. And Pakistan has a prime minister who sat there and said, it is an insult to us when Americans say radical Islam. There is only one Islam. This was 2 days after Erdogan said it. And a week after Supreme Leader of Iran said. And that's the funny part.
The president of Turkey, Erdogan, said that.
Yes.
And the Supreme Leader of Iran said that.
And a few days later, Khan, or Khan as you pronounce it here, Prime Minister of Pakistan repeated the same thing. that Americans are insulting us by saying radical Islam. We are Muslims and we follow the Quran. And then today, one of the government members of Taliban said the same thing. He literally, the exact sentences coming out of his mouth on Afghanistan International was, we will veer the suicide west if that's what it takes. That is what it takes to hold on to power in Afghanistan. We do what the Quran said. When are we going to wake up in the West, in America, and they call it Islam, and we go out of our way every day to find something else, fundamental Islam, radical Islam, reform Islam. This is, stop it, call it what it is. It's Islam, and it's coming for us. And our government apparently is ready to hand us over so they can slaughter us. So at the moment, it's up to us Americans, to stand up and fight back. As I said, we are coming, actually, by the way, anyone, if you go to my website, liveuptofreedom.com, come Saturday, September 11, I am running a 4-hour live broadcast, remembering and honoring the victims of September 11 and discuss where we are 20 years later. So please feel free to join that broadcast.
And I owe you, I think I owe you a video to be put into that, and I'm going to try to find the time to do that tonight when we go off the air.
Yes, please do that, because all of the audiences coming from Frank's speech to watch that broadcast will be very disappointed if we do not hear from you on that day. We need your video.
We're gonna record it just as soon as we go off the air here, and you're gonna air that 4-hour special on Saturday at liveuptofreedom.com, right?
The information is on liveuptofreedom.com. However, the live broadcasting will be on all my platforms: Facebook, Rumble, YouTube. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yes.
And then we need to get it over on your frankspeech.com account. You did get up on Frank's Speech, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
I am on Frank's Speech under Live Up to Freedom or Anni Cyrus. You look up either one, my show comes up.
Okay. Liveuptofreedom.com, liveuptofreedom.com, Anni Cyrus. Anni, thank you for the update. Keep us posted. We want you back every time there's new information.
You got it. I will keep you posted, and thank you for everything you're doing, Brannon.
Thank you, Anni. It's a team effort. Anni Cyrus checking in. Her website, liveuptofreedom.com.